Hi guys, so I'm here today with some of Air's wonderful sales team members. I've got Jackson, who's a business development executive in our team. I've got Fran, who's currently a team leader, but also has quite a bit of experience in managing accounts, is transitioning towards account management at the moment. And Nathan, who's also one of our team leader, all of whom have grown up within Team Air over years now, for all of you, which is really exciting. And today we're talking about what it's like to be a part of Team Air within our sales team from all different perspectives. And I'm going to start with you, Jackson. Let's just get an overview. You've been with Air for how long now?
Be 3 years.
3 years, okay, fair enough. And you're what I describe as a boomerang, left and came back. Obviously missed us that much.
Yeah.
What's it like to be a part of the sales team there?
I suppose the main thing is just the togetherness and the culture that everybody brings towards, the big goal that everybody's focused towards, which is obviously delivering for clients. But everyone seems to have that one goal in mind when dialing on the phones. So I think for me, coming back here was a very easy thing to do, because elsewhere where I went, there wasn't quite that togetherness, but here you very much is that.
Culture is a really important thing in sales, isn't it? And Fran, you've managed a team. How much of a role does it play in keeping motivation high? And for you, what are the elements of what we do, you do, managing your team when it comes to culture that have the biggest impact?
I think you just hit the nail on the head there. I think what we do, and myself and Nathan, Joe and Ishi, is to drive performance. And I think one of the things we've been working really, really hard on this past maybe 12 months is culture. You can't force culture, you can't kind of force people wanting to come to work and want to kind of achieve a great output, but we have a really strong kind of togetherness almost, where kind of Jackson touched on it just then, but everybody's pushing forward to the same end goal, and that's great to see on the floor where people are actually caring about the results that they deliver for our clients.
Yeah. And Nathan, as a team leader, how much control or impact can you have on the culture within your team? Because I guess some of it's dictated by you, some of it's dictated by the organisation and the people in the boardroom talking about what we're going to be in the vision and those sorts of things. That must be quite hard.
Yeah, I mean, of course, management and the leadership team have a massive part to play in with the culture. But for me, and you touched on it a minute ago, Jackson, it's the we not me mentality. So I think it makes it quite easy actually to make a positive culture sort of like vibe in the office. Because yes, we have all one end goal to get results for our clients, but guess what? We have fun as well.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to come in, get everyone going, have a bit of a laugh of it, because we do know what we want to do here, and it's deliver results for our clients, but also have a bit of fun whilst we do it.
Jackson, what kind of profile do you think is right within the team here? What kind of person would do well and thrive within the sales environment here?
Well, I suppose it's off the back of what Nathan said, really. Somebody who does want to come in and is eager to work hard, learn, especially the processes within Air, because they are slightly different to other businesses. But it's also to have that bit about them to kind of have a bit, I suppose I hate to use the word, banter with people within their team, and really just have fun, but also knuckle down at the same time.
Hungry, haven't you?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Deal fever is what we call it in our team. But you keep going, you keep getting leads. You're kind of a bit ill. You're sneezing, but what are you sneezing? Deals. Deal fever. That's what we got in our team.
Love that.
I love the first time. I'm not so convinced. Fran, what's the hardest bit of the job? Because it's great to talk about all the fun stuff we do and the sneezing deals, but realistically, you're not moving that one down. Realistically, it's a tough job in sales, and in 2020 it's got harder, hasn't it? What are the challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis?
I think obviously 2020 kind of technology's changing. A lot of businesses are now using multi-channel sales, so I think aspects of the job can be hard at times with trying to reach certain decision makers. If we're talking about it from maybe a dialer perspective, sometimes if you have that kind of one really bad negative call, which can sometimes kind of hinder on your performance or can kind of just get you down emotionally. But the thing that I know you'll keep saying, referring back to Nathan and Jackson, the thing that picks you up is the team, is the culture, is the togetherness, is the camaraderie, the little strap on their name. It's all of those fundamental components that come in. But I think all of those kind of difficult conversations, just a character, but it's character building, isn't it? It helps you push forward. But I think when you have that moment of God, this is hard. This is a very hard job.
Yeah.
It's gone with a matter of moments, and you get off that call and you think, wow, oh gosh, it's someone's birthday. Oh wait, somebody else just got a massive win, and your mind just switches.
Yeah.
So I think it's just understanding that core component, that every call is going to be the best, and you've got to get off that call, think positively, and think, you know what, they're lost. There you go.
Yeah.
I wish you best of luck. You could have really done my product or service,
Yeah.
and leave them. It's your loss.
Yeah.
Or maybe you might not even qualified.
Yeah.
Sometimes
It's interesting, because I think people talk about resilience within sales, and resilience isn't just something you can make up, it's something that's born from the environment around you, it's natural, it's there, and it has different levels depending on how you're feeling and how the people around you are behaving and the climate within the room. Jackson, let's look at your performance in 2020 for a moment. So you've been with us for 3 years. I think it's right to say you've gradually got stronger and stronger in your performance, and 2020 has been a really good year for you. You've had a number of key breakthroughs, and you've really set yourself as one of the top performers within our team, and it's not a small team. What do you think you're doing that others can learn from that helps you to perform at that level?
I suppose for me, it's just making sure, like, setting targets, and for me, the key thing that I look to do is just outdial people. So you might not be the best person on the phones, but if you're working on a campaign where you just need to speak to more people, it's actually doing that. It's making yourself accountable for the dials that you're doing, and also taking pride in the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
I never want to see myself, in a low performing position, which drives me to get to the high performance.
It's interesting, because I think Salesforce, or maybe Challenger, was saying there's a piece of research that suggests that on average an inside sales professional, somebody who sells using the phone primarily, wastes an hour and a half per day thinking about who to call next. Procrastination. That's it. The elimination of procrastination makes you more efficient. So having the right systems and processes in place, either self-created, this is the way I like to work and I have my system, or from an organisational perspective, being supported with the right technology, the right platforms, the right processes, helps you to achieve that.
And I suppose that's it. It's knowing what you're good at. It's not focusing on the negatives. That you might not be the best at getting past gatekeepers. For that, make more calls, speak to more gatekeepers, and eventually you will get. And it's just finding the balance of what you can do right, which isn't going to happen straight away. Obviously, it's taken me 3 years to get to the position that I'm in. But it is about learning from others, finding out what you're the best at and what you can strive towards, and just working on that and continuing to do so.
Can I just say, one thing I love about you, because obviously Jackson's in my team as well, you do the basics right. So make calls. How many calls am I going to make in a day? What is my target? That's just basic things that everyone can do, but are you going to do it on a regular basis?
Yeah.
If you do it on a regular basis, you will fly, and it's as simple as that. But like you just mentioned there, with gatekeepers, you may not be the best person at speaking with gatekeepers, or even be the best person with, say, talking to decision makers. Now, I know that's our role, that might sound silly, but if you can put your hand up and go, mate, I need a bit of help on this, can you help me with this, X, Y, Z? If you're talking about the negatives and actually want to understand how you can become good at the negative, great, put your hand up and ask for some help, basically.
It's an interesting point, because you can't have all A players in a team, right? And you need the B players and the C players to prop it up, and also A players tend to be fairly volatile.
Yeah.
They can be, when they're on, they're on. When they're off, when they're having a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, it can be quite emotional, it can be quite dramatic, and I think you need those consistents. From your perspective in leading a team, how do you work with different profiles in sales? Because we've got such an array of characters in the sales team. That must be a challenge, managing those people and understanding how they tick and what makes them want, what drives them.
I think one of the biggest enjoyments of my role is getting to know each BDE in my team, and almost finding out what makes each of them tick. So we have some really experienced stylers, we have people that have just come in and they've never done sales before, or people that are traditional telemarketers. They like to bang in, get 200 dials done a day, or even a few that like to dabble a bit of social selling. I think it's all about understanding what makes each individual tick, and if I know, I know what makes how to draw the best results from Sarah in my team, for example. I know, I know how she likes to be motivated, I know how she likes to be praised, and if I know how to get the best out of her, then she'll deliver for the company and help improve her performance for our clients. And I think it's just getting to know each person in my team on a personal level.
Yeah.
When they feel that their manager has an invested interest in their kind of CPD within the company, they want to push forward. So that's kind of really helped me in my role.
And Nathan, how has sales changed in 2020? So we've had COVID, lockdown, virtual selling has become a new, well, I say new thing, I mean we've been virtually selling for years, but for some industries it's become a new thing. We've had people working remotely for this. There's so many new challenges and new opportunities. What have been the biggest changes to the way that people sell in 2020?
You would expect to hear the response that it's got harder, but actually, because everyone's now more remote, working from home, but they have their systems at home as well, I think it's actually become more of an opportunity to sell. There's more availability in the sense that actually people are welcoming to speak on Zoom, for example. You don't have to meet people face to face. So sales has become, I wouldn't say more challenging, but I think more open now. And, you know, it's adapted in that sense.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree, to be honest with you. I think sales, for me personally, it has just got easier. And I think a part of that is maybe being the fact, you know, it's a bit more relaxed, say, with being in the office or working from home, so you have that balance now. Whereas you can find yourself, say, if you go 3, 4, 5 days in an office and you know you're not getting anywhere with that, at least on the Monday it's almost like a fresh start if you're working from home. So you can just think, right now I've got think about what I need to do to actually get back to the level I was the previous week when you were scoring.
It's really interesting, isn't it? I think it's reflected what I've always thought of as holiday months, December, August, quite a lot. So traditionally and statistically we've seen lower dial to connect ratios, so it's maybe harder to get people on the phones, but higher conversion rates. So when I speak to somebody, I'm more likely to get a yes from them because they're more relaxed at Christmas when the sun's out in summer, when it's summer holidays. So there is a trade-off there, and I think COVID, people working from home, has done that. It's given people more focus on the conversation they're having with you when they're talking to you, because they've not got 1,000 things in front of them distracting them. They're not about to go into another meeting all the time. But harder to get hold of people, particularly at the beginning, because people didn't have remote phone systems set up, didn't have a direct dial line up there to sort all that out.
You know, we've always had objections, be that Brexit or be that some new rule coming in. COVID's not that different. It's just overcoming an objection that actually can be overcome. The fear, the initial objection of COVID's happening is just an automatic response now, because it is the new normal. So, like I said, sales is just adapted now. I think.
Let's go around just to wrap up. So Jackson, somebody thinking about getting into sales, what would be your best piece of advice for them, your number one tip?
It would be just to take advice from people around you, especially if you're new to it and you're coming into a new, I suppose it's the same as any walk of life. If you're going into something new, you need to learn from experienced people. And I think that is a key thing within this particular industry.
And Fran, what about somebody considering joining Air in a sales role? What would you say to them?
Ooh.
Other than do it.
Do you know what though? Yeah, it's essentially, I had never done sales before at all. I just finished uni and I thought, you know what, I'll dabble in this. I probably won't even last more than 6 months. And just be accepting the process. I think I absolutely fell in love with the company and the people and the job that I was doing when I first walked in, and I've stayed here ever since, and I love that about it. And yes, I wasn't the best salesperson, or I didn't think I was ever going to be, but kind of what Jackson was saying, and being consistent and kind of shouting out about your weaknesses, or kind of gaining help from experienced people, made me stay. And I think if you're considering a job at Air or considering a sales job, just jump in with both arms wide and think, you know what, I'm strapping myself in for this ride, and just literally take everything on board, feedback, good, bad, and just jump in. That's nice.
Brilliant. And Nathan, people who maybe have salespeople reporting to them, you're in a team leader role or a sales management role, whatever it might be, what would you say to them where they've got people who maybe having a challenge with getting sales over the line? Maybe we found it easier in some areas, but maybe they work in an industry where it's got harder. What would be your piece of advice, your top tip to managing inside salespeople? Or
you know what, it's going to sound very straightforward, but again, just go back to the basics. Have you listened back to your phone calls? You know, have you listened back to yourself when
Coaching,
you're
yeah.
absolutely smashing it? He's just coaching at the end of the day. I love a football analogy, as you well know. Ronaldo is a top quality footballer. He will still coach himself every single day, look at where he can improve. So for me personally, it's just continue that coaching side of things.
Well guys, thanks for your input today. Really appreciate that, and I hope you found that useful listening to.